Have you just started your job search or have you been searching a while? Either way, this course is for you. Job Search 101 is dedicated to provide tips and tricks to start your job search off right so that you can land your next job more quickly. My name is Amanda with the Workforce Centers of South Central Kansas, and I will be presenting to you how to get started in your job search and how to prepare for job fairs. A quick overview of today's talking points will include discussing your mindset, the blueprint here of how to land your next job. It starts with how to prepare to look for work, including creating a resume, connecting with references, checking on your social media, preparing for an interview, making a really good first impression, the job search aspect of it as well, like where to look for work, how to keep track of your job search, job fairs, using LinkedIn, and then lastly, staying positive throughout the job search. Sometimes job searching does take a little while and can sometimes impact our attitude towards finding employment. Let's go ahead and start with your mindset. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get your feedback, but these are some questions that you might ask yourself just to kind of gauge and reflect on your own mindset, your own attitude as you are currently looking for work. How are you feeling about your job search? Are you anxious? Are you overwhelmed? Are you feeling positive? Are you feeling like it's harder than you thought it would be? Really kind of ask yourself those questions. Some other things that you might think about, like how long have you been searching for work? What type of work are you looking for? Do you have specific goals that you're trying to achieve? That may look like a certain industry, a certain employer, a certain pay, certain benefits, etc. And think about what is it that you are finding most challenging in your job search. When we talk about how long maybe you've been job searching, I do want you to keep in mind that a lot of times I think people think that finding a job may happen within 30 days. Give it a month or so. And that just may not be necessarily a realistic expectation. Prior to the pandemic, probably on average, it took most people about 6 months to find work. And then obviously with the pandemic at first, maybe it was taking people even longer than the 6 months because a lot of places were not hiring. Now there is a need for staff as a lot of places are understaffed. So I do feel like people are finding work more quickly. But you still have to keep in mind that you're trying to find a job that is a good fit for you. And so sometimes finding the right fit for your needs can still take a little bit of time. So make sure to not be too hard on yourself. Regardless of how long you've been looking for work, this is a new beginning. You're able to start fresh today with this is my goals, my plan, this is what I'm going to do to achieve this. And you may find out through today's course that there may be some things that you could do a little bit differently to maybe improve your chances of landing that next interview. So what's the difference between a windshield and a rear view mirror? The obvious answer may be that the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. One's facing forward, one's facing backwards, right? And one of the things that, I use this example for an analogy is that, it's okay to look backward at where we've been because sometimes that also helps us look forward. We're able to reflect on what we've been doing and realizing what is working for us, what is not working for us. And then that way we can look forward. And the reason why the windshield is bigger is because that's really where your focus needs to be. And occasionally we need to look back and reevaluate. The main takeaway is that you are in control of your life. So you have the power to reset that attitude. Change starts with you being determined, believing in yourself, and asking yourself if you're trying hard enough. And sometimes we're not trying hard enough, and we just need to put in a little bit more effort. Sometimes we are stopped by the unexpected and we have to regroup. I mean, COVID-19 was one of those things that impacted everybody, and everybody had to reevaluate and figure out how they were going to operate within the new environment. So some things are within our control and some things are not within our control, but how we respond and react to it is always within our control. So some things that you would possibly want to do is to set your goals, keep track of those goals, make sure that your goals are measurable. And one way to do that is to set specific goals that are measurable, attainable, realistic, but also have a time limit on them. So that way you can go back to them and see if you've met them, if you need to extend them or change them, etc. Think about what employers you have your sights on, shift preference, minimum wage per hour, what other benefits you'd like, or the vicinity you'd like to work in. And then keep in mind, just like if you're shopping for a house, sometimes all the things that we want, we can't find it in one house or one package or one job, right? And so sometimes we have to reevaluate those goals and maybe sacrifice some things to get the majority of what we want. And so you may have to evaluate those goals periodically if you're finding that maybe you might have to drive a little bit farther to a place of business to get the wage and hour you're wanting, etc. Do get organized. Use a calendar to help you set these goals so that you can also check on your progress and follow through on meeting those. This will help you hold yourself accountable. It'll make you feel good when you see that you've achieved these goals. If you write down these things, you need to also include the things that you need to do every day, besides just the job searching, other daily responsibilities. That way you can make sure that you're using your time more effectively. Don't forget, though, to schedule in some time for a break. Yes, looking for work is like a full-time job. And so you're going to be spending the majority of your time searching for work. But you still do need to schedule in some time to give yourself a mental break from the job search. Now I'm going to give you the blueprint, which is how to prepare to look for work. First, you're going to need to create a resume. Ideally, you want to target your resume specifically to the position and employer. So you should have a new resume for every job you apply to. Recommended is that you create a master resume to help you in creating these more tailored or targeted resumes. You're never going to send a master resume to an employer, but the master resume would have your entire work history on it, or at least the last 10 years, dates of employment, address, and phone number, which can also help you with filling out applications so you don't have to Google it each and every time. When you do create your targeted resume, you're going to want to make sure that you use bullet points and action verbs. I always start out my bullet points with an action verb like planned, supervised, created. And generally that is also going to be in past tense because it's a job you previously held. Ideally, you want this resume to be about 1 page in length, no more than 2 pages. They look at your resume for about 6 to 7 seconds. Connect with your references. They do not go on your resume, but they do go on a separate typed up sheet like your resume with similar heading or title with your name and contact information. Be sure to get their permission to be used as a reference. Make sure that all information is current, including an email address. Many employers now are requiring email addresses because they'll actually send them more of a survey. Some applications you can't even get through unless you do have email addresses for your references. Professional references are preferred. And don't forget to thank your references. We do encourage sending them also a thank you note. Check your social media and email. You're going to check your social media for anything that may be unprofessional. And you're going to check your email every single day for any type of communication that you may need to take a drug test or do another personality quiz or something like that for the employer once you're applying. Sometimes they even schedule interviews through email. I personally had that done when I was job searching and almost missed it because I wasn't checking my email on a regular basis. In order to make sure that your social media is professional, you want to make sure, pictures, memes, spelling, nudity, alcohol, drugs, political or insensitive posts, that should all be avoided on your social media, or it should be locked down, very private. And when I talk about spelling, I should have probably clarified here, we're talking about like spelling mistakes or spelling in kind of text talk. And so they just kind of look down upon that as well, which might seem pretty minor, but would encourage you to make sure that your social media is definitely portraying a professional image. That does include professional email address as well. So be cautious not to use anything that may be inappropriate or even also might identify your age. Age discrimination isn't supposed to happen, but it does. So like with this example email, Tom Cruise 1942 at hotmail.com, there's a few things here that could potentially identify age. That 1942, even using a Hotmail email address could be age identifying because it's kind of an older platform. Some people might use AOL still or sbcglobal.net or whatever. And so some of those can also identify this person might be a little bit older. And age discrimination really starts at about 40. So if you're 40 or older, you may fall into that bracket and where you're starting to be discriminated against potentially because of your age. There is another video I encourage watching on our YouTube channel, which is overcoming age discrimination. And so, or ageism is actually what I believe it is titled. And so I would definitely encourage watching that if you fit into that bracket on how you can market yourself. You'll also then need to prepare for the interview. We have a class called Big Interview, which actually goes over a tool that is available to you straight from your Kansas Works account. There's a spot which I've got circled here in yellow, which will lead you directly to a tool that is online. You can use from anywhere that you have computer access. All you have to do is create you an account, but it has a virtual lesson. So you watch videos, and then it has a way of allowing you to record yourself answering questions for like a practice mock interview. It uses artificial intelligence to rate like your rate of speech, if you use filler words, your tone, and all of those things. You can also then send the video off to somebody else to critique it more so for the content of the message. So whether that is a friend or family member, a caseworker that maybe you're working with, or even just for yourself to go back and watch and kind of do some self-reflection on. So I would encourage you to take our big interview workshop and then also to take advantage of this tool to practice for your interview. Making a good first impression is extremely important. And part of that is going to be dressing and grooming appropriately. If you feel that you don't have the attire or the clothes that you need when you go to a job fair or to an interview, you can reach out to Dress for Success for Women. We can get you a referral there if you need one. They have a program in which you can actually get some clothing for job search, as well as there's a number of clothing closets run by churches. You can call 211, which may also have additional information or knowledge of who in the community is offering clothing. And in the bag cleaners will service for free your suits as well for job interviews. As mentioned on the social media before, the grammatical errors and punctuation errors, whether that's on your application, your resume, or social media, is a complete turnoff. And so you'll want to make sure that you pay really close attention to detail there. Make any necessary changes to that social media, remove any questionable content, have a professional sounding voicemail, be timely, research companies applying to before interviewing, practice your interview skills, be willing to learn, and have a positive attitude. Once you've done all that, you're ready to begin the job search actual process. So you may be wondering, where do I actually go look for work? One place would obviously be kansasworks.com. That's going to be absolutely free. And you're able to connect directly with the job descriptions and go directly to the company website to apply from there. Also, company websites. So you can go to Google if you're not exactly sure what the company website is for the company you're interested in. And then the third-party job boards that most people are familiar with, like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster, Career Builder. Would caution you a little bit on the third parties, just because generally they're in for profit. And so often they will sell your information. You'll probably get some spam calls afterward. Sometimes your application may not go directly to the company. And, you may just be kind of spinning your wheels or wasting a little bit of time if it doesn't say that it is taking you directly to the company website. So you'll want to just be a little bit more cautious on that. I would really encourage you use it more as a jumping board, if you will, to find which places are hiring and then go directly to the company site by Googling it. And most of those places are going to have their own company site in which they're taking applications. And so that way, if you apply on their website, you're 100% sure they got your application. As well as social media, Facebook has a jobs platform as well as LinkedIn. There may be some other ideas that you may be able to generate from friends and family, etc. Networking is a really good idea, and I certainly encourage that. You never know who may know where the next job opening is at. I do recommend that you keep track of your job search. If you keep a copy of the job description, this will help you prepare for the interview. It'll also save you time when you're having to get into the application, maybe to complete a quiz or something else. Save you time from having to do a reset of your password. Helps you remember to follow up with employers, and you can add additional notes as needed when you speak to employers. So it may look something like this. Is just an example: date, company, job title, website, login and password. Did you send your resume? This is when I plan on following up. And so if you keep track of this, this will allow you to make sure that you know exactly where you've applied and how to log in and when you need to follow up. Job fairs. They are marketing networking events rather. They are marketing events as well. They're marketing their company to prospect job seekers. So these job fairs will sometimes be either a general job fair, which means it may have various industries, various skill sets and pay and things like that. They may be industry specific, like aviation or healthcare, for example, or it may be an actual, just a single individual employer that is doing some mass hiring. And so it could just be one employer itself. A lot of times those are called like hiring events or something of that nature. These job fairs can be offered in person or virtual. In order to know about the job fairs that the Wichita Workforce Center hosts, you can go to our website, www.workforce-ks.com. And our social media will generally announce any job fairs that are occurring, whether that's our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, there. We don't really have a lot of marketing budget, so you won't generally hear about the job fairs on the radio or TV from the Workforce Center itself. However, occasionally we will have sponsorship enough to do that. Most of the time, though, you're going to find them directly on our website or from our social media accounts. Now, other community job fairs may very well be advertised on TV and radio or posted around town or in other community centers. So I would encourage you to look out for those. Bring your resume. Ideally, you want to know who's going to be at the job fair so you can try to target your resume to those employers that you learned would be there. However, if you're not sure who's going to be there, then you may want to create more of a general resume. But if you're afforded the opportunity, a targeted resume is going to be more beneficial. Remember the rules of making a good first impression, smile and be professional. In addition, ask for a business card and follow up with them based on your conversation and application. LinkedIn is a professional network similar to Facebook, but it is strictly professional. It's a social media application that allows you to connect with individuals in which maybe you previously worked with or people maybe you're interested in working with. In addition, you're able to follow influencers that are in your similar industry to learn and grow professionally. You also get to post a virtual resume in essence. It's an interactive platform, and you can post things that are relevant to your job search or your area of expertise. It also offers a built-in job board, and it allows people to provide recommendations and validate your skills. This tool is a really good tool to use when you're searching for work. A lot of recruiters use it and recruit directly from LinkedIn, not necessarily a job posting, but people that they have connected with and kind of built some type of rapport or relationship with from the platform. Be sure to stay positive throughout your job search. As mentioned before, some job search can take longer than others, but your attitude really does determine how far you'll go. Successful people feel in control. They're motivated to act. They identify and challenge their false beliefs. And in essence, they identify and they challenge their self, if there is an area in which they could further grow. They believe their situation is temporary. They predict their success and they try wholeheartedly. They give 100%, if not more. Recommend here the workshop Job Search 101 has come to a conclusion here. So I recommend that and I think I said workshop 101, job search 101 has come to an end here, but I recommend that you actually attend additional workshops. You can register for our workshops on our website, workforce-ks.com, just by going to the workshops and assessment link and making sure you go to workshops. You can also watch all of our workshops on YouTube. Our YouTube channel link is here. You can follow our Facebook to stay up to date with any information going on within our center on our Facebook social media account. And also you can create a LinkedIn account to follow us as well. We do appreciate your time with us and want to thank you for that.